Hey everyone, got a great song here today called Inception by McCoy Tyner, and it's from one of his earliest albums, and I do have the album. I remember listening to it a long time ago, and I remember picking up one thing off of it. I think it's maybe when they're trading fours with the drummer towards the end or something like that, where he takes the so what chord and goes right up the scale in whole steps. So he does the whole tone scale with so what chords, and it's something like that. And I just thought that was so cool, and my young ears could figure that out, and I picked that up off the album. And then I don't think I've listened to this thing in a long time, and I had a request to analyze the song, and I was able to find a chart on the internet, and I only could get the first page of it, so a little bit is missing. And I also have done like a screen save of somebody else's transcription. I was going to buy it, but I couldn't. The website was in Italian or something, and I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I just did some screenshots, and I put the chord symbols in. So what I'm going to cover here is a little bit of the beginning, so it's got a little introduction. And somebody asked me about this the other day, talking about the song Tenderly when I did this. All right, they said, what is that? And it's called constant structure. There's other names for it too, but it's like, where you take a chord. In this case, it's going to be a sharp 9 chord. It says D flat 7 altered, but that alteration is the sharp 9. And it just moves it down in minor thirds. So it's the exact same chord. It may not look the same, because when you move down like this, then you've got black keys and white keys and black keys. But it's the exact same chord. So D sharp, D flat 7 sharp 9, B flat 7 sharp 9, G minor 7 sharp 9, E, and then back to here. And of course, where does a D flat take you to? Yeah, it could take you to G flat. But in this case, it's like a tritone substitution moving to C minor. And that's where the song begins. So this is just an introduction. There it is. And then he starts with the minor melodic ascending scale. That's a minor scale with a couple of major notes up there near the top. And the chart, of course, that I found is probably what McCoy played, which is just the rootless voice sings. But hey, I've got no bass player here, so I put the bass notes in as well, and you can just tell what the bass note is by the chord symbol on the chart. So I went, it's funny too how it starts with a 2-5-1 going to F. Like that, I mean, this is a blues, a C minor blues, but the head has some very different chords than in the solo. So, all right, and you can see there's some constant structure here going on. All right, those are the first 3 chords there. You see here it's a G7 unaltered, but when you go down here, now it becomes a C7 altered, and that's the sharp 9 is the alteration again, and then it's unaltered here. Now you say, well, maybe it is altered because it's got a 13 in it, but by altered we would mean a flat 13, and that's not there. However, on the next chord, it does kind of go there on this B7. So that's like not really any kind of harmonic motion there because it's F7 to B7. That's a tritone substitution, so it's kind of the same chord, but with the addition of that 9 there, it sounds different. Then we go on to E, and then it just kind of makes a random jump to go and finish out with those altered chords there. And here, I may have gotten that one wrong because I've been playing it as a sharp 9 chord because that's what it sounds like to me, so I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe that's it. So I might have played it wrong there in the intro. That sounds right. Does that again, then it's all right. I found it helpful to put my thumb there, and then here's constant structure, all sharp 9 chords. All right, so we have the exact same chord moving down here. And then a nice little 2-5-1 in F. All right, and the 2, that's a substitution for a G. You know, could go like that, but just have D flat as the bass instead. Yeah, and this part of the song, the turnaround here, I did not get a screenshot of this. It just goes like this. All right, so that is A flat, B flat, B flat again with A flat in the bass, then A flat, then a G. Once again, it's a G7 altered or just G7 sharp 9. And I don't think there's many chords here, except maybe the augmented chord there, maybe C minor, maybe B flat. I'm giving you this chart, but this solo here that I kind of took from this guy, Alex Conde, I'm not going to put that down in the description. It will be on my Patreon page. You could probably find this transcription yourself. It's not too. It's out there on several different videos, and this particular guy plays along with it. And if we're actually hearing him play, he's got it nailed to the T. Timing, notes, everything. And I'm just going to cover a tiny little bit of this solo because it's so interesting. Rhythmically, it's great, and then the lines he's playing, also fantastic. So it's like a 24-bar blues because it's going along so fast that they, instead of 4 bars on C minor 6, it's 8 bars. Everything's doubled. Starts with a whole tone scale. And it's the same rhythm as like the song, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... All right, and there's no left hand written in, but he follows his fourths and stuff, and then towards the end of that C minor 6 section, he'll have a sharp 9 chord like this to get into the F minor, and I haven't analyzed it much beyond that. Now, just what a quirky line is that? It's great. 1, 2. All right. And right there, there's the diminished scale. All right, and that fits over this sharp 9 chord very nicely. However, there's a few notes that aren't. Right there, and that's a little passing tone. So I guess that's the only note that's really outside of the scale, but very, very nice. 2, 1, 2, 4. right, notice the rhythmic variation here. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 1. All right, you hear those two little things, and you know, if you're not listening to the whole band, it might sound like da-da, 2, 3, 4, da-da, but it's not. It's da-da, 2, 3, 4, da-da. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. All right. All right, we could do a whole video on that line. So we've got F minor, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And, you know, that's... Now, you should watch Jeremy Siskin's channel, okay? He's a great piano player and a great teacher, written a lot of books, has done a lot of videos, and he did one very recently, I believe it was recent, about Bebop, where it's like on the second half of the bar, you're not playing in that chord anymore. You're playing in the chord that's going to come next. And I think that's kind of what's going on here. He's on F minor. See right there? I mean, that could be F minor, but he's already like leaning into that C minor. All right, it's almost always a C minor 6. Now, you know, if you are a Patreon subscriber and you have this chart, I wrote out the chord symbol. So every time you see C minor 6, that's the beginning of a new 24 bars, C minor 6. The rest of the time I just wrote C minor. Let's take a look at this line now on C minor. This is McCoy doing what's called side slipping, or it's also called playing outside of the normal harmonic boundaries, right? So on C minor 6, all right, that's cool. That's part of that melodic minor ascending scale. And I believe that's a B flat. You know, the guy who did this transcription seemed like, I'm not double checking it against McCoy's notes or anything, but I'm going to say that's a B flat up there. All right. Now, you know, a lot of fast bebop playing is done with these little 4-note patterns. You know, like right up there in the first line. Little things right under your fingers in the F minor line here. All right, that's an example of that. Yeah, and going into C minor, there's another one of those little 4-note patterns that are right under your fingers. All right, now let's take a look at this crazy line here on C minor. You know, I'm suspicious that those notes might be B and A. They would sound good that way. They kind of fit under my fingers that way, but if we're going to read the chart here, it says B flat and A flat, so. All right, and that's like a 4-note pattern, but instead of in C, it's like it's slid down from C major to B major. All right. And then trying to work our way back into the key here. All right, so let's try to play this line fast, see what happens. Okay, that's about half the speed McCoy plays it at, but it's pretty nice. All right, D minor 7, 1, 2. And then here's our turnaround. There is no real 5 chord in the turnaround. It's just, 4 measures of C minor. So many things you can pick up from just this first chorus. His rhythmic ideas. And, you just pick out little things that you like and practice little sections of it. If you're already, a fairly decent soloist, doing these things, 5 or 10 times will lock them into your subconscious and also lock them into your muscle memory. And who knows, you might be soloing on a completely different song and something like this might come out. And, that's the idea behind playing somebody else's solo. It's not to learn how to play it exactly note for note and impress YouTube. It's to, pull from it the things that you really like and learn from it and hopefully, absorb a little bit of it so that it comes into your playing.